we'll do one at a time. So we're going to take the head off first. So let's go ahead and import Luca. And we can go ahead and fix her. Translate. Okey-dokey. So, let us hide the bones so we can see the mesh we're working with. Then let's separate the materials, because that makes it easier to take pieces apart. Okey-dokey. So if you also want to like take out unnecessary stuff at this phase, you can. So I'm guessing you don't really care about that. Oops. What the hell? Dread? Let's say we don't really care about that, right? Let's see, there's another blush layer. Blush layer. I think that's the shadows under the hair. Okay, I think those are all the like unnecessary things for now. So in this model, I think the neck is part of the head. So that should make it easy. I'm gonna guess the other one's the same, but I guess we'll find out, right? So basically all you're gonna be doing is just like wiping out everything but the neck and head. And we'll have to see on the other model, like if that one... Okay, that was pretty fucking easy actually. The stupid glasses are in the head, I think, so we can get those out. I guess you're not going to use them, right? Alright, I think the rest doesn't make a big difference. So once you have them all separated and you've got it carved away, go ahead and join the meshes back together. And then I think that's probably going to turn the armature back on anyway. Texting me. Hey, my hockey team's in the playoffs. Okay, so now we're just going to start removing, basically keep the neck. So this is where you may have, if you have like weird models, you may have to double check this, but you want to make sure like everything that you keep has been fully weighted. So what you want to do is go to body, and then, or go to the mesh, and then go to this little like triangle tab thing here. And then we're going to be looking at the vertex groups. So let's check out the neck. So click it, highlight it, and go to weight paint. You just want to make sure that like it's whatever you have left is fully covered by a weight paint, so it's fully covered in red. And since we don't have to do anything special. So I'm going to go back. Now I start deleting some of these bones. It's basically the way I like to do it, since we're doing everything but the hair. So if you right click the neck, which is basically like the limit for us, you hit Shift G and then you hit children. Everything basically like below that in the hierarchy, so the head's connected to the neck and the eyes and the hair are all connected to the head. It'll select all those. So those are the ones we want to keep. So you can now do select down here in the bottom left, and there should be an inverse, yep. That'll select everything that's not those. Then you just hit delete bones, and you're good to go. So now you have your head fully separated, right? So this is super easy. We didn't have to like carve anything out because this lady does really nice models. But since this seems to be what you pull from, I think this will be the same for all of your attempts. So just one thing to double check is if you go back to the mesh, the shape keys, which are also under this little triangle thing here, just make sure they still work. So it's kind of important. Nothing should be. The only time these get broken is if for some reason or somehow the mesh itself is like warped. Like if you accidentally moved vertices or something on the face, like it can fuck these up. but if you're just like carving away the body, it shouldn't impact anything. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this as two things. I like to keep the Blender file just because it's like the original. So let's make, just make it, can I make folders in this? Whatever, I'll just put it in this root directory for now and just call it Cura Head. And I will also export it as an FBX. Also, I have some presets for VR chat exports that I use, but I think this is in one of Tupper's videos. Let me see. Can I zoom on this somehow in OBS? Does it let me do that? I don't know, but it's in one of Tupper's videos. I think the end-to-end he goes over this. You may want to just make one and save it, but I think it's probably visible in my editor, so I'll just quickly, you can like pause the video on these and just look at them. Actually, did I pick the right thing? Okay, and then you would just like click this and then give it a name, and then you can always select it again from this list. Okay, so I'm also going to make an FBX of Cura's Head because that's what we're going to import in. Alright, so now let's clear this. Alright, delete everything in this new scene, so you can hit AA and then hit delete. I'll go to the cats tool, and now we're going to import your body, which was... is this it? Just Be Friends version 1? Okay. Down. We'll do the same thing here. Fix it. Translate it. Okay. So now we're going to do the opposite. Basically, we're going to be cutting the head off of this one. So let's separate by materials. I think this is going to be another case where the head and the neck are attached. It appears to be the case. So, let me hide the armature. We'll have to see once we import it in if there's stuff we have to clip away, but I think it's going to be mostly okay. So, let's see. Cheek, we can get rid of. Dread. Eyes. Eye highlights. Face. Facials. Glasses. Hair. Hair shadow. Lens. Probably want to keep the panties. Transparent facials. Red 1. Red 2. Okay. Looks good, right? Don't see anything missing. Panties are still there. Alright, let's go ahead and join these back together. And we want to remove the head this time, so basically same thing as before, except we're not going to inverse it. So go to edit mode, select the neck. Actually, you know what? Is that the best way to do it? Leave the neck, actually, because it still has this area, I think. So just do the head itself. I think that's the best way to do this. Yeah, I think in this case, select the head, select all the children, delete them. I think here they like had part of the hair connected to the neck for some reason. So you can just select those, Shift G, children, delete, Shift G, children, delete. Okay, so we just got the body with the neck. We're good. I'm gonna go ahead and save this as Cura body, or I guess Cura dress. Alright, and then I'm going to now import that FBX of her head. bench is here. Okie N, go to shadeless. I can see it. It's positioned kind of high. The neck skin tone might be slightly different on this, but we can probably fix that. And I see like we may have some extra neck that we don't need. But we might also just be able to drop it into the body and hide it without having to actually delete it. So let's see, it looks like it's mostly in the right spot. Also, if you want to see the bones, let me see. I'm going to try something here. This may mess it up. So let me see. If I hit fix, does it merge everything together? No. Okay, I don't think it made any difference at all, actually. Don't worry about that. If you go if you go to the armature thing here and you turn on X-ray, it lets you see like bones through bones or through meshes in case like you're trying to see if the bones line up. So I'm gonna bring it down again like last time. So just select it here, hit G. You can do the mouse wheel trick where if you hold down the mouse wheel, you can lock it to an axis. So I get the vertical one. I can't actually see what I'm doing. For some reason, selecting everything. You know what? I think fix did fuck it up. 1 sec. Let me go back to this step. Okay. So let me try again. There we go. Okay. So now, you tell me when you think it looks good. Does it seem like the right height? Sort of hard to tell with all that shit all over the place. Seem right? Ignore that like weird seam. Okay. Let's just say yes. But whoops. I am not always the greatest judge of these things. Ignore that. This happens in my Blender for some reason. I probably have to restart it, but I think it looks good. So for now, that we just sort of have them in position, because I also have to reload. I'm just going to call this Avatar 1 or something. And we'll open that up again. Just give me a sec. Yeah, I'll give you all these files afterwards. Doing it. Yeah, no, I'll give you all these files. Okay. I guess the skin tone's really not that far off either. Like, if I was looking at this, I wouldn't have been able to tell. You mean the original that we chopped off? Yeah. They just look better in game, in my opinion. Because, like, it moves more nicely when it's all, like, everywhere. Like, they bend in weird ways sometimes. Alright, so I'm gonna go put X-ray back on, because I need to actually be able to see this. Okay. So I think we did this yesterday, but basically what we're gonna do is actually, like, stick these two things together and make them one. So, I'm gonna go over to... it does weird shit that I don't trust, so... I don't, it might, but I don't, it doesn't put the armatures together. I think it does the meshes, but I don't know if that's still the right way to, I think it's gonna cause issues. Because I think when you, okay. I go to the, so I go to the mesh of the head, and then I change the armature in the modifiers tab here. So right now it's associated with the bones that imported with the head. For now we're going to tell it, go look at the main armature of the body, and we just leave it. Yeah. So now it's kind of like, where the fuck are my bones? Because they're not technically using these ones, but we'll fix that in a second. Then we're going to click this body first, and then the actual body's body second. Then we're going to hit Control J, and now they are one. Great Circle of Life. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Control J is the join hotkey. Then we're going to take this armature and select the body's armature. Hit Control J also. Should fix the bones so they all look the same like format now. Looks a little chaotic, but it's good. Okay, so now the last thing in this case that we have to do is I'm going to take the neck from the head. Is that the one I'm looking at right now? Where's the text? This is the actual neck. I think it was neck 001. Yeah, so neck 001 was the imported one. And I'm going to go to the bone tab here. Make sure you're in edit mode too, so this actually shows up. Then we're going to parent it to the body's neck. Then we're going to hit, where is it? Mix weights. So this will, just make sure I was recording. So this will delete the head's neck bone and mix all of the weight paint from it into the parent, which we've made the body's neck bone. So essentially those necks should basically like merge together, like whatever was here plus whatever you brought with it. Okay, and this is now on the neck, so let's see if this worked or not. I'm gonna click like a crazy man, go to pose mode, select the neck. I may have to put it into pose position, and if I rotate it should like look pretty good. Yeah, I think like in a normal range of motion that looks fine. Nothing ever looks good at the extremes. So this is the part that I was kind of like thinking we might have to do something. We'll have to see in game if it looks like that. And if it does, we'll go ahead and fix it, but I'm trying to think if your neck will ever bend that far. Yeah, it would start tilting up, right? And the head should be fine because we didn't change anything about the head. So everything looks fine. Little hair bits are all the bones are intact, so I think it's attached and good at this point. Double check the shape keys, so just make sure like what do you mean? Okay, let me pull up paint. So let me pull up paint and explain what we just did. So we got like, so we had basically we had the neck bone. That was a horrible, whatever. The neck bone, right? From the body, right? And then we had the neck bone from the head, which is attached to the actual head bone, right? So what we did is we picked this head bone, or sorry, this neck bone from the head, and we parented it to the body's neck bone, right? So if you were looking at the meshes, like this part of the original of the body's neck has some weight painting on that neck bone from the body, right? So it was like sticking up like this slightly, and then you also brought in a piece that was kind of like basically coming down like this, right? Like there's some overlap area. So on the black bone here, the body's bone, it's weight painted all this, so it's saying whenever that bone moves, move these vertices with it. And on this red one, like on the neck of the head, it weight painted its bones, right? So we didn't want two bones for the neck because that would be fucky. So what we did is we parented the neck to the head's neck to the body's neck. So right now, that first step of it makes it look like it's a chain. So it's like body neck to head head. But we don't want that. So what we did is we used that mix weights button. So what that does is it deletes the bone that you're selecting, and then it takes all these vertices that are weight painted and assigns it to the bone of its parent. So now this black bone is the only thing that exists, right? So we essentially got rid of this. And we said make this bone responsible for all of these vertices. Like inherit its weights. So now when you move that bone, it's going to move both parts of the mesh. And then we didn't, the head just sort of. So there you go. So at this point, you pretty much have like a model. Like you may want to like, you may have to like reposition the hair. Actually, I think it looks pretty much okay. Apparently her boob sizes look the same. Yeah, and like it doesn't look weirdly out of position or anything. So honestly, I think this one's more or less done. Like you may want to like go into the texture here and maybe like sample the neck from the body and like slightly blend it together if you want. It's barely noticeable on my screen. Hang on, I just wanna... with the stupid shit. Yeah. It's a little bit like, it's a little lighter and like more towards like the pink, whereas the body's a little more towards like a peach. But it's like barely noticeable, so you really won't have to do a whole lot. Like you don't have to like recolor the face. You may just want to like slightly blend together these two colors. It's up to you. How would I do that? I do it in Photoshop. So what I would do is look at the two materials that these are responsible for. So the body is in body 01 for just friends, right? So let me see. Desktop, VR chat avatars, others, Kira. So if I was looking at just friends, source. Oh, I see what you're saying. She actually hides the folder. I have hidden files showed all the time, so that's why I never really understood what you were saying. So I would edit this. Yeah, that's sneaky. That's obnoxious. Okay, turning that off. So this is kind of hard. This part's a little tricky to explain because you have to figure out where on the where in the texture it is. So hang on, I gotta look at. It might be easy. It might be easy on some. It might be hard on others. So face, I think, is the one for the head. I think it's gonna have the neck in it. This is the source. And where did we get it from? Blessed Messiah, right? Yeah. And then dancer. Bastard. Okay. I think to show that, by the way, I think if you actually click view, you're in Windows 10, right? I'm pretty sure if you click view, there's just like hidden items. If you just check it, you'll be able to see that folder. And then it's using face 1 from this, I believe. That's so weird though. Because hang on. You know, they're exactly the same. That's actually the way it was designed. So honestly, I think we should just leave it and see how it looks in game. Because I'm looking at the body that was with the original, with this head, and it's the exact same. There's nothing at all different. Like I'm flipping between them in Photoshop. You won't really be able to tell on the screen share, and probably not the recording, but I see absolutely no shift at all. So however this head was designed, it was designed to go with this skin tone. So